So in this particular example, in the folder 231 modules, we have the folder inside named modules, and we have another folder base network. So if we go to the main .tf file, we see that all this code is just for network. So we create the network security group, we create the network itself, we do the subnet, and we do association, the security group with subnets. So this is our modules. Let's say this is our base network module. And in the root folder of this 231 module, we have a main file. The main file is basically do the following. It's create the resource group, and it's referring to the modules. And the keyword is module. Then you name it the module how you want. And the source of the modules is on the same level where the main file. So we have one dot here, then modules, then base network. And then we have the list of parameters which are required for this module. So if you go to the base network and to go to variable, so all these variables are required for our module. So we need the address space, DNS, prefix, resource group name, location tag, and so on. So let's see how it works. As for now, we will just run the module just for create the network. So if I run, and also once you add the module, you always need to initiate the modules again. Initiate the Terraform again. So you can put the flag upgrade. In that case, it will upgrade the configuration of your modules. And if you go into .terraform file, you can see that right now we have the modules. And again, we have a modules which is source here. Okay. So let's back to our main file and just clean up a little bit and run Terraform plan. So we see that plan is going to add 7 new resources. So let's take a look what's going on there. So we will have virtual network. We will have subnet security group association 1 and 0. So we'll have 2 associations. Why we have 2 associations? Because we have 2 subnets. So we want to associate each subnet with security group. So we have subnet 1 and subnet 0. And we also have the security group itself and the resource group. So if I will run this code right now, I will be able to create the resource group and the base network. But how I can use this module to create some other resources? So here we go. We're gonna create the virtual machine, and to be able to create the virtual machine, and you can basically go to the website and go to Terraform and refer to this, for example, Azure Linux virtual machine. So all what we need to do is that. So we need to create the network interface. So it's kind of like virtual network card. So we need to associate this network interface with one of the subnet. But because our subnet in the module, right here, we referring by name module, keyword module, then we use base network, then we use Azure RM virtual subnet ID out, and then we're referring to which out, 1 or 2. And why it's out, let's go to the modules. So to be able to access the information from modules, you have to provide some output from this module. So if I go to my base network module and go to the output, I see that right now I do the output of network name, network ID, and subnets. So subnets, let me maybe change this to subnets, and the value will be Azure Resource subnet, then main, and then this star, dot star, meaning that all subnets which we have will be as a tuple inside of this variable. So if I modify it a little bit here, so let's maybe stop here and I will explain again. If I go to the module, right, I see that how I create the subnets. I create the subnets based on a local variable, which is length of the subnets. If we go up, we can see that length of the subnets depending on the address prefixes. Okay, in my what does it mean, address prefixes? Let's say you want to create 5 subnets. You want to create subnet for your private endpoints, you want to create subnet for your internal application, you want to create the subnet for your database, for external. So how many subnets you need to create the subnet specifically for these resources. Some resources basically even like require dedicated subnet, but we'll talk about this in the future lectures. So we have variable address prefixes and we want to have the length of this variable. What does it mean? If I go to my Terraform TVAR files and I have address prefixes, and you see right now I have 2 subnets here, right? If my code will be executed here, it will take length of address prefixes. That means it will take 1 and 2. So in that case, the length will be 2, and we need to create the and it will be allocated. The value 2 will be allocated with this local variable length subnet, and then using this count, we just create this 2 subnets. So this code is using for create 2 subnets. If I will need to have more subnets, I will just in my variables, I will just copy that and say, okay, you know what? We need to have another subnet, like 3. So, and right now we have 7 resources, but if I do again Terraform plan, we should have one more, or sorry, more, several more, because yeah, let me just hold on a sec, go to main, comment these things. So initially it was 7, and I think we have to have 10. Yeah, because 1 additional subnet, 1 additional association with a subnet. You see right now we have association 0, 1, and 2. And we still have subnet 2, subnet 1, subnet 0. So we have 1 association, 1 subnet, resource group, and interface. Yeah. So this is how we can use the subnet and this length of the subnet. So, but let's go back to the virtual machine. So we create the network interface for our virtual machine. We use our modules to get the first subnet because we want to use first one. I can change this for 2. I can change this for 1, for 2. So, but I want to use first one. And then in our Azure Resource virtual machine, I am referring to this network interface, which I am created here. Okay, So let's maybe change this back. Okay. And let me run the Terraform plan again. Okay, we'll have 9 resources. One of them will be virtual machine. Yeah. Okay, let's try to deploy. Terraform, apply after approve. And if I go now into my resource group, I don't see any resource group. By the way, let's check how we name it. So in our file, okay, we have ACMA. Okay. So I expect that the resource group ACMA will be created under East US2. It will have these tags. The network, virtual network, will use this address space. We will have these DNS services, and this is our subnets. So let's refresh it. Yeah, you see, we have ACMA group. If I go inside, I have my VNet ACMA inside, and this is my address space. This is my DNS servers. If I go to the subnets, I can see I have subnet 1, subnet 0. This is the range. And you see in subnet 0, right, available IP for 1 IP less than in subnet 1. Why? Because we create the network interface also. So if I click on connected devices here, I can see that network interface was created under subnet 0. So let me see. Okay, everything is fine. Let me go back, refresh. Here we go. So we have our network interface, we have our network security group, we have virtual machine, we have disk. It's by default created. You see it's generated name of the disks, and we have virtual network. Okay, let's check association, right? So if I go to VNet, go to subnet, I see that each of the subnets were associated with my security group. Okay, so overall, this is how the modules works. Okay, the key points which you need to understand is modules is just the folder. Inside of the folder you have your own configuration of this module, and then in your main file you can refer to this module using module keyword and source, name of the source. Okay, pass to the source, and once you specify the source, you need to pass all parameters related to this module. So basically you can also use like module can refer another module and another module. It's possible but not recommended because it's hard to read and understand what's going on there. So and you create the module, and then you can refer the module based on the outputs from that modules. So as for now, that's it for module section, and on the next video we will start to build the module for our observability. And until now, good luck with Terraform.